One look, give him whiplash. Speed drop with a big flash. Puts me into nothing fast. Down right, ooh, down right, down right.
Y'all better focus in.
Down right, ooh, down right.
Hallelujah.
How did you say that?
Because that's what we do.
Hi. Welcome to fanSERVice podcast.
fanSERVice podcast.
This is going to be a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
We're also going to include a little bit of a trigger warning.
Boop,
Gang,
boop,
gang.
boop, boop.
I probably shouldn't have said that. But warning. My bad, y'all. I wanted to lighten the mood. But trigger warning on this episode, just for the level of mental illness, and for those who may be triggered by having a stalker or some other traumatic events tied to idolization. Because today we are discussing the nature of idolization.
The nature.
We're gonna try to stay within K-pop, but there are just so many like really interesting and fascinating stories that we want to cover.
Yeah, and I think that's important because there becomes this misconception a lot when it comes to especially K-pop spaces in Korea, especially when it comes to like mental health and their history there, that I think is like more nuanced than just that, and it spreads elsewhere, and there's other examples of it. So I think it is fair to kind of look at those other examples in connection to the fact that there's idols not just in Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's also important to, especially when we're dealing with spaces that involve such large numbers of young people, to talk about the difference between support versus obsession. A lot of times online we'll see seisang, a term used to describe higher level stalkers for Korean K-pop idols, or Korean idols in general, Korean celebrities, used as just someone who goes to a lot of concerts. And we're here to kind of provide some clarity on what the difference is between someone who just has a lot of money and goes to a lot of concerts versus what a seisang is. Because they can be the same, but they can be different.
Just like how a stan can be what it actually is meant to mean versus what it actually is. Because stan, even that phrase, which is utilized a lot and has kind of changed meaning over time, it came from that song by Eminem, and it's like we forget that part. Like, there's a whole song about this obsessive fan who like took on his entire persona and then tried to like kill him.
Stan.
And his fans are now called that. But then the funny thing is that like we call everyone who's a super obsessive fan stan. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think you can be just like, oh, I stan this person, versus like, oh,
Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
You ain't calling.
I remember that song.
I do.
I mean, I've had some bangers back in the day. I can't
really
lie.
did.
I don't know if it's enough for Sugar to be saying that was one of his like favorite MCs of all time, but definitely a interesting artist. So idolization is a term that is coined by David Horton and Richard R. Worrell. That's a tough one. And it basically talks about connection that extends past the intended interaction time with the celebrity.
Yeah.
People will hear this and go like, oh, okay, so if I do a fan meet and then I go home and I look at him doing a live, that makes me a weird stalker. And I don't think that that's technically true.
No.
I don't think that's true. But I do think that if you continue on past then to mark like every moment that he does where he is in the public eye and what he is doing, and then you press on to get in contact with people who may know a little bit more about his schedule and what he's doing or what they're doing, that's very strange.
Yeah.
That's intensely strange.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But in the grandness of how you end up with idolization in general, right? I think the interesting part is we as humans, we can find that stuff very fulfilling, because it's come to a point now where we as people don't just naturally like passively consume media. Like we are somewhat interactive in nature now.
Right.
And it's not that wasn't the case before, because I mean you watch any movie about a biopic of musician, whether it be a Michael or a Little Richard, whatever, and you see the interactive nature of fans, but there was still a very deep wall where we didn't really know much until it was shared.
We didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have the internet, and we didn't have people who were freelance reporters nature wise, and that what I mean by that is like feel the need to like go and find some stuff out to be the one to say I know this thing, and be meaning that in like the lay person, not like an actual reporter.
Right,
those people were still doing that, but like you don't have like a random girl from like Wichita, Kansas being like, you know what, I'm gonna fly to China to go and do that. Like, we're not doing that.
Not to China, but they did have intense levels of idolization when people, I mean, back in the day, like, I mean, people like Michael Jackson, like Elvis. It's actually interesting when we were talking about this initially, because we ended up reading that book about, what is that book called? K-pop?
It is placed right here for anyone who wants to read it.
Okay, great.
All the information. There will also be information below in the bio.
Yes, because there are other sources that are going to be a part of this episode. Really great book. It was suggested to us by our historian. Shout out Tatiana. We love you. Thank you.
Good luck. Pretty much finals time, I think.
Yeah. But what I did think was interesting about that book was that they basically said that it is a natural human evolutionary trait to feel some type of companionship or camaraderie with a face that you see often. Now, this is where it gets weird, because I think a lot of these K-pop companies are fully aware of that. And so they play on that skill of, if I put this person in front of you so many times and they're likable and they're charismatic and they're enjoyable, you're going to naturally bond with this person. And evolutionarily, it was something where, people would have to possibly walk for miles to find, mostly men, I guess, in the theories, but sure, whatever. Walk for miles to find food, water, whatever they needed. And sometimes they would forget the way back to their first living situation, or they would be like, actually, this place is nice, I'm just going to stay here. And so then your family becomes the faces that surround you, and those are the people you know, and that is now your community. And so in a digital age, it seems like we happen to be creating community and creating these ties to people that we see often, even if we don't know them, which is why a lot of times you'll see, especially with older people, they will have this strong tie or communication with celebrities who do like The Price is Right or certain shows at a certain time, and they're like, this is part of my schedule, this is part of my community. Oh, that guy, he's so funny, ha ha ha. Steve Harvey, Family Feud, oh my goodness. And that's the reason that happens. I think that's so interesting.
And it's very true though, because if you are creating an environment where you are constantly interacting with something, like somewhat in an obsessive nature, because even if it's not purposefully obsessive, I think that where the K-pop companies come in with them purposefully making it so is that they just push a bunch of content and a lot of these children deeply into the pop culture. And so when you are in Korea, like I love watching them, but it does sometimes it's so telling when you watch like those influencers when they go to Korea and they're like, my convenience store run, and they like do their whole like what I got at the convenience store, and it's always so cheap. Compared to our 7-Eleven.
Must be nice.
Our 7-Eleven suck here.
It's like $20 now, bro.
It's terrible. Oh, I want a onigiri at 7-Eleven.
You can't get a fucking onigiri. You can get an old hot dog that's been turning on a fucking spit thing for 2 days for like $7.50.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's ridiculous.
But I love watching them because you get to like see how many options there are, which is telling within itself too, because there's so many options and it's very like consumerist heavy. But the thing that I can see in those videos a lot is how often idols' faces are on products. Like coffee, drinks, like snacks. They're everywhere. And then the billboards, and then like these people are all over wherever you go, even in a convenience store in a village, like that you find their faces, they're on the coffee. So you're like, oh,
they're worse than New Jersey realtors?
Yeah. Because honestly, because one thing that is true, I can only tell you in one place where I saw Amy land again. I can't see her nowhere else.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. I can't see her nowhere else. Shout out to Amy. I hope you sell some houses. Actually, no, I support black realtors.
Thank you.
But she seemed like she could have been swarthy. I don't know.
You know, she gives that she would have that white mom of a black boy haircut.
Yeah,
you know,
I thought maybe she was like her father's Puerto Rican, but you don't like to talk about it.
Oh.
Anyway,
she voted for Trump.
She definitely.
So anyway,
all of the people who work for that same realtor, that same red, white, and blue realtor, that's there.
Remax, bro. It's about fucking Remax.
But like that's the reality. You're literally in contact with these people even when you're not trying.
Right. Right.
And so it wouldn't be so insane for you to kind of, even if you don't actually consume their content or even like them, to create an attachment
because you're used to them.
Because you're used to them, and then if you do actually like fuck with the shit, you're gonna be locked in real heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is from experience. It's the reality. Like we definitely do a podcast. Hello, thank you for being here. But even as someone who like enjoys watching TXT, I enjoy like watching Twice, all these things, there's so much content constantly being pushed.
There's an abundance content, for sure.
So much that I can't be privy to because I have a job and a life and like other things to do. You know, I'm trying to like go towards retirement. I don't have time for all that, but like, no, you're good. I'm trying to go towards retirement. I don't have time for all that, but
you're trying to go towards, okay.
I'm trying to retire at some point before I'm 95.
You know what, valid.
So, which is
valid concern for an American.
Pretty much really hard to think about doing in this day and age in America.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
But because of that, I'm not going to be the core consumer that they're looking for, but there is one that they are, and you play off of this fact. And I think that the one thing I loved about that book was how much it delved into like historical and psychological like reasoning behind why it is that even exists to begin with, and why we feel the need to be a part of fandom spaces, including the community aspect of it all, where it creates its own sometimes faux community feeling. It's also part of the reason as to why cults are so susceptible to be a part of. It's the thing that we want to do so badly. It breeds itself off of cult mentality, clear obsession, and taking advantage of elements within these different media forms that are problematic in nature but grab attention. Because
so hive mind breeds comfortability in humans.
It does. And hive mind, where you can limit judgment for certain aspects, make it even easier.
So then when we're talking about fans, and you already said talking about communities, and then the difference within the communities, as you said, of a faux community, which I think is what most Black fans in K-pop experience.
Yes.
It's interesting. So in reading Fandoms of Color by Abigail Kosnik and Andre Carrington, there's a part in that where they discuss how fandom studies, the studying of fandoms, is mostly, at least in the United States, has been mostly focused on white fans. And so a lot of their experiences and a lot of their tropes and things that they really resonate with have to do with white American culture. And so in talking about breaking down what it's like to be a fan of color of certain things, it's interesting because they were saying that depending on your nationality, there are certain things within the fandom that are going to stand out to you as large moments. One that they mention obviously is the kiss in Star Trek, the first kiss of a Black interracial kiss televised ever of a Black woman and a white man, and how a lot of the Black Star Trek fans, Trekkies, a lot of the Black Trekkies really resonated with that. And then at another point, they talk about a film with Bruce Lee. For some reason, they decided to make him a sidekick character who obviously did the majority of the fighting, as Bruce Lee would. Yeah. And while it did amazingly well overseas and was beloved by white audiences, they always resonated more with the main character instead of the character who was actually doing the ass kicking, which is crazy because that character is the one who's the cool. Like that's, you know, so it was interesting to watch them unpack that. And I think there's a lot of similarities that we see within K-pop as far as like artists that you want to like more than others.
Well, yeah.
As a Black fan, and maybe I think it's interesting because you can see that Black fans do tend to gravitate towards certain artists.
Well, yeah, they tend to. I mean, we are not a monolith, but it definitely is true that certain elements of K-pop fandom, it is easier to gravitate. And then when it comes to the groups, the soloists, the outside of the K-pop industry musicians as well, like all of that, there usually is a through line.
Yeah.
Where we all kind of can go.
You get it.
We get it. Like, girl.
Yeah.
Like, you here too? Obviously.
Cool.
Good to see. Good to see. Welcome in.
Yeah.
Good luck.
and I feel that way when we go to concerts too.
Yes.
When we go to concerts, it's like when you see another Black person, they're always like, "Hi, do you want a freebie?" It's the best. It's the best.
It's like seeing a Black person for the first time.
It's like, because you're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here? That's how I felt when I used to travel abroad and I used to be in like Germany or Spain or whatever, and like you would see someone and like I know why I'm there. But I'm also like I'm in a random fucking town in Germany. I'm in fucking Krefeld, Deutschland, and nobody's supposed to be here because this is a small town. This is not an active area. And then you see one other Black person and you're like, hold the fuck up, bro. Is this happening right now? Like, it's the whole moment.
I haven't even went to Helsinki and I was like,
wait a minute.
Living it up in Finland.
You know? It's always funny because even and sometimes they'll be like African sometimes, but even so, it's always like I see you. Like you always, and if they don't, then they're really weird.
But well, usually not everyone has the
nod,
the universal nod code. Yeah,
but if they don't acknowledge you at all, very strange.
Usually it's
very strange.
That indicates to me that usually and it'll just peep in my head. I'll be like, usually that means that you're the sole person in your groups of people. And so I'm like, that's why you're not going to. And so I'll just be like, that's fine.
Oh, you're nicer than me. I'm like, oh, you're strange.
Well, no, because I'll be like, I'm keenly aware of the fact that whether it's like in Sweden, in Germany, in Finland, in all of them types of places, when you are whatever the sole Black person in that village, and most of the time they're like emigrated from Africa, like y'all's vibe is different. 100%. Your vibe is just like how Black 100%. Brits are different. Like 100%. Your vibe is different. Black Brits, because they commodify Black culture, that's why we get the nod in England.
Commodify Black American culture.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are it. Like,
you said I didn't feel the need to clarify.
No. Y'all should know by now.
For our followers along at home, because I hope. I pray and I hope that some of our followers at home are not Black, and that some people are learning and being educated through this podcast, because that is the point, to not just preach at the same people who already know that they know, but if you already know that you know, we glad you're here, baby. Jump on in. Regardless.
But the Brits aren't liking cowboy boots and fucking mayonnaise salad. So, what?
No, you're so right. It was just so funny.
It's the truth.
I loved it.
They don't give a fuck about that. Just like I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, a boot will be cute, but it hurts. Either way.
You gotta really break them in.
Yeah, but me having to do all that.
I'm sorry,
annoys
you
me.
have to really break them in.
Me having to do all that annoys me. Me having to do all that annoys me.
All that?
just to go to a rodeo. Like, why would I do all that? Just put on some
You're
sneakers.
gonna put them on to go to the rodeo.
Yeah.
Most shit, is my sight getting bad? Fucking finally, we get to talk about the light of my life.
Oh my god.
Jesus, I've been waiting for this. I have brought this man up in probably like the last 3 episodes.
I only cut it into 1.
I know. And I am accepting that because maybe I have a problem. But I'm gonna tell you this, okay? Andy Lau is one of the most fascinating public figures that we have researched recently. Mm-hmm. And I say this because this man has done nothing but interact with adversity like his entire time in the public eye, and just kind of do his best to take it in stride, which I would not, the way his career has gone, I would not fault him if he decided, hey, you know what? I'm older. I'm just going to take my money and dip the fuck out. You know, popular Chinese figure with art. He released a song. He released a single in 2026.
Yeah.
This year. This man is not slowing down.
No.
And his performances, if you look up Andy Lau, now it's hard to look up a lot of his stuff because it is it's like so deep cut Chinese that
Cantonese is
yeah, like I don't know how you type in certain things. Honestly, I don't have the format for that on my keyboard, but there's performance videos of him on YouTube of like, and I mean just weird concert concepts of aliens and him, but then he's also a pilot.
Yeah. But
he dances with this woman over a couch. Like, it's fucking phenomenal.
It's amazing.
This man is such an interesting character study. I feel like he's also, what I love about him is that he's not really a dancer, but his concerts are incredibly engaging still. Some K-pop artists could learn a lot about that.
Yeah.
He's just a performer through and through, and that is something that I immediately enjoyed about Andy Lau and enjoyed about having to do this research, because a lot of times we do the research because we have to do the research because we have to do the episode, but he made this shit fun.
Yeah. Also, he's an exceptional actor.
Exceptional.
Amazing actor.
And he was hot when he was young.
He's so hot.
Andy's
poem. Anyway,
I don't know. I want someone to like go home and ask their Chinese grandma about Andy Lau, and I want to hear what their perception is, because obviously we only have what's online, but I want to know if he is as beloved as I think he should be, because I think this man is fucking interesting. But anyway,
the answer is yes.
I hope so. Anyway, we are here to talk about a specific instance of idolization with Andy Lau. So, into his career, he was a really well-known actor, right? He had also, I think, released at least 1 album by this point. Yeah. He was kind of a public figure in China. And there was a woman whose name we're not going to include, but she decided that she needed to marry him.
Like, badly.
And so she proceeded to empty out her savings and traveling to see him, to enter fan meets, to do whatever she could to be near this man, essentially.
Yeah. Did her family like help?
Yeah, her parents ended up supporting her financially in order to continue her process to getting to her goal husband. At a certain point, her dad reached a level where he was writing a letter to Andy Lau because he was going to commit suicide. That his way of helping his daughter achieve her goals was to write Andy Lau a multiple-page letter about how, like, please just meet her, please give her a chance, like, she's obviously goals. Which I don't know. I don't think my dad loves me that much.
Is that love?
Understanding that this is how her parents kind of deal explains a lot about why she thought this was acceptable behavior, why she thought this was love. That sort of thing.
Yeah. And ultimately, obviously there was other mental health instability there because you needing to end your life in the attempt of getting attention from your daughter's obsession is extremely
Well, they at this point, I think they had already sold their house.
Yeah, they were out of everything. But it was the whole thing was that he's like, well, I have nothing left anyway, so I'm gonna do this. But my whole hope is that you are going to fulfill her dreams for me.
Yeah.
So like, just do that.
Yeah.
And then Yeah. Meaning it had nothing to actually do with it. Just
it had nothing to do with Andy Lau whatsoever. She had met him once.
And yeah, at a fan meet. And it had already been spoken about that was something that they had already been in some way of communication before.
Right.
Because it was like making a boundary. Mm-hmm. But in a sweet way, like, which is kind of usually how it goes.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and then he obviously was deeply affected by it because we're human beings. And that's a lot. That's a lot.
Someone's dad commits suicide and then writes you a 12-page letter saying, please, this is my last and final request.
I'm doing this and pretty much saying I'm doing it because of you.
I'm going to kill
yeah. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be like, okay.
That's
so he was definitely not and had, struggled with his mental health, Andy Lau.
Yes.
And ultimately, he did end up, which was not publicized at the time, he did end up paying for his funeral and a lot of things for the family, which is unnecessary.
Which is crazy.
And it was unnecessary, not to say it wasn't humane. It was extremely beautiful in a humane way, but like unnecessary in the form of like, you did not have to do that. And then, but he did, because Andy Lau is,
that's dope, dude.
And in the end, him doing that was the thing that supposedly snapped her out of her deep-rooted obsession, and now she spends her time speaking on the incident. Now, I'm not going to give her a platform, because if you want to look it up, you can look it up. But she did end up spending a lot of her time now more recently speaking on that incident and speaking on the dangers of being so heavily obsessed with people to a point where you're going to cause them more harm than good.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wouldn't think of it, but this is one of those things that like could be a middle school assembly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could definitely be a middle school assembly. Like, kids need to start, because with how much access they have, because every kid, like kid I know right now wants to be a content creator or an influencer. And newsflash, it sucks. But also, sorry, but also, like, as a child, there's so much online safety that you have to have, because like people are not good with kids on the internet. So it's just, it's really interesting, because you have to monitor, and I could see if this happens to adults, how this could happen to kids so much faster. And so much quicker.
And it's a level of the parasocialism in general is so crazy, because the phrase, and I've said this before, I there's a point when I feel like we lose the meaning of a lot of things in real time, and we start saying things so often that we forget what it is and what the actual heavy and important piece of it is. And being parasocial in nature, just the word itself, technically, like, it's not unlikely to carry some sort of parasocial attachment to something or somebody. That is very likely. Most of the time we do. Most of us do. It's the way that it has become so inherently dangerous. Mm-hmm. And that's not just for the idols themselves. It's dangerous for the people who are acting out in this way.
Yes, because people get trampled chasing to go see an idol. People get trampled trying to rush to the front of the stage. People, like, stuff like that happens all the time. Yeah. And it's really bad. Yeah. It's really bad.
Or constantly being in front of someone's face, and that does affect your psyche a little bit. Like, it's as if we forget that there is a safety that is necessary for everyone involved, and that gets thrown out the window in the name of obsession, in the name of I idolize you, I'm your fan, I obsess with you.
没有人会知道自己有多重要，就当一不小心跌了一个跤。